Hello and welcome back to the 20th Century Dude channel. On today's Features of the Month review, it's sort of a half and half review. It's half Thanksgiving, half not. And it's hard to make it Thanksgiving themed when there's not nearly a lot of Thanksgiving content out there. And no, I'm not counting any movie that happens to have a Thanksgiving scene in there. I'm talking about a full-on Thanksgiving movie. That's why Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in the video today, because it's the only main Thanksgiving film out there. With the exception, of course, being the Thanksgiving slasher film from Eli Roth from a few years ago, but I'd prefer something a little more wholesome and not anything that would spoil my appetite. So I guess that means that I'm gonna have to spend my career in filmmaking Thanksgiving films or something. The other movie is Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. That film is from 1925, and I think it has aged exceptionally well. Even though it is a silent film, I know some of you probably don't like silent pictures because they are, quote, boring. Honestly, I've seen a couple dozen silent films, probably ever. Most of them slapstick like Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton, and almost all of them weren't really boring. I'd say there were only one or two silent movies that I considered to be boring, and that's because there just wasn't an interesting hook to grab my attention, and I cared for nothing that happened in them, but that's a film discussion for another day. I already made a separate video on what makes a film boring, but that's not for today's discussion. I'll submit that down in the comments section below, the link to that video. We will actually start with The Gold Rush first, and get that out of the way. That, and I did just watch it before making the script for this YouTube video, so I wanted it to be fresh in my mind before recording. It's been a few years since I watched it, but I remember why it's actually my favorite silent picture probably ever. Charlie Chaplin was always a slapstick genius, and he, along with others like Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton, always emphasized the importance of the visual gag. That is one of the reasons their cinematic legacy still endures to this day. The Gold Rush is filled with memorable moments such as the iconic shoe-eating moment in the cabin and the dancing of the dinner rolls. Speaking of the shoe-eating gag, that was apparently supposed to be a riff on the tragedy of the Donner Party, but I suppose you could say that's taking what was supposed to be tragic and ye made it comedic in a way. Oh, and let's not forget the whole situation with the bear when Big Jim and the Tramp finally do get a meal, but honestly, that whole set piece with Big Jim and the Tramp going back and forth in the cabin is pretty great by itself and serves as a very respectable, awe-inspiring stunt. Later on in the 1940s, the movie got recut as a talkie, removing a couple of subplots and adding in dialogue that wasn't in the original version, as long as a new music soundtrack. But I think that took away some of the original cut's magic. Charlie Chaplin's Tramp character also falls in love with a woman named Georgia, and that part of the story also represents some of the opportunities we fail to take advantage of a lot of the time. But the film has a proper blend of comedy, human connection, reality, and substance. It's not just a bunch of gags strung together through a very shallow story. No, in fact, The Gold Rush is very much the opposite. Every gag and goof and story beat is put in here with purpose. Some people might prefer other Chaplin films like City Lights or Modern Times or The Kid, since they might hit harder a little more emotionally, but that's perfectly fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, of course, but Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush still stands as my personal favorite silent film of all time, and my favorite from Charlie Chaplin. The last movie is, of course, the most obvious Thanksgiving movie of them all, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's a heartwarming film from John Hughes, and great to watch with the family, except for that one scene. Well, the one where Steve Martin is in the airport, and the one where all of our dads had to press the mute button for. Like Gold Rush, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a great mix of humor and heartfelt moments. The film, if you haven't seen it before, is about the misadventure of two people, two completely different personalities and lifestyles, I might add, trying to get home for the holidays. Some of the traveling struggles, especially during the holiday season, are totally, completely relatable. I can't say for sure that I've had any traveling incidents as bad as Steve Martin has it in this movie, but everyone always has their own travel horror stories. Anyway, the film also serves as a break from John Hughes' teen comedies he cranked out during the 1980s, something even critics noted was a nice change of pace. The film's main stars are also a crucial point as to why casting is so important. No one else could have pulled this comedy off as well if people other than Steve Martin and John Candy were in the movie. If they weren't casted, this could have been another forgettable comedy. Another strength this film has is the fact that it's the perfect blend of two subgenres of film, a road movie and a buddy comedy. If we did want to add another strength, and it's possible that this might have went over some people's heads, it's the nature of our two leads. Neil, played by Steve Martin, is clean-shaven, sharp-dressed, self-confident man, while Dell, a traveling salesman, is mismatched in his clothing attire and rather odd compared to Neil. Dell is a character that wins our hearts, while Neil purposely takes a while to warm up to. Even though this is a Thanksgiving film, in a way, Neil is like a Grinch and Dell is a Santa-like figure. Planes, trains, and automobiles always hits home every Thanksgiving, and sometimes we just need something that makes us laugh and hits straight to the heart. So of the two movies, which do I like best? I'm gonna be honest, both have their merits, but in good Thanksgiving spirits, I will be indifferent this time around. Whatever I like more depends on my mood, but I don't think it really matters. Overall, that's it for this month's Features of the Month review. I'd say for Christmas to really stay away from some of the mainstream well-known titles. I'm most definitely going to aim for something more obscure. I might even find some holiday B movies that are hilarious to watch because of how badly made they are. But no Hallmark crap. I won't do that to myself. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in to the 20th Century Dude channel and hope to catch you on the fly. See ya.